Okay, so in the last video I bent the two tubes, the two arms. As you can see, I've notched one of them out, and I'll do the other one in a few minutes. But before I can tack this frame, oh, I got a MIG welder as well with gas, so I'm delighted with that. So yeah, but before I can actually tackle the subframe and weld it up, I need to take the bike off the stand. It has to come off the dolly, because I need to see what way it sits naturally when it's being driven. I also need to pump up the rear wheel because that's flat. Pump up the front wheel, and I have to put the engine into the frame, purely for the weight, just to see how the bike naturally sits. Because I could tack this, and when I put the engine in and take it off the stand, it could be totally wrong. And I don't want this to look like a Street Fighter. So yeah, so those are the kind of few things I need to do. So I'm gonna get that done, and I'll come back to you in a minute when I have those few things done. So I just have to put that lump into the frame. Alright, so I was gonna put the engine back in just to get the weight down, but then I forgot that there was gonna be no fuel in the tank, all that kind of stuff. So I just decided, I went online, I checked how much it weighs. It weighs the same as these five slabs. That's including a half a tank of petrol as well. So that's kind of the weight. I just wanted to make sure that the back doesn't sit down too much, that I have issues, because I'm going to have a rear hugger over the back wheel eventually. So I just wanted to make sure there was space for that, and that the bike wasn't too high. So this is what I'm going to go with. Yeah, it was just easier and quicker to do this than to try and put that engine back in just for weight purposes. So yeah, so okay, so let me put something over the back wheel and let's start welding that up. Now, see the smoke coming out of that? Each time you do something like this, you actually have to vent it. So there's a small hole at the bottom of that side tube, and there's also a small hole here. That actually vents. If you didn't have these holes inside your tubes, you'll see them, I'll show you now on the original frame. If you don't have these holes, what happens is you end up with a blowout at the very end. Once you're finishing your weld, just at the very end, you're going to end up with a blowout. So you do need to either drill a small hole or have a hole like this somewhere that it's venting, so the gas build-up doesn't blow it out on you at the very end. So that little bit is done. I'll do the outside now that it's tacked. Now let me just tack up the front. Right, that's that one done. That's going to stay solid. That's not going to let go. So I'll tack this over as well. But I can tidy them up. I can grind them down a little bit and tidy them up. Okay, so before I do the other arm on the other side, now this is solid, I want to put in one little cross member here as well. And I need to kind of widen this ever so slightly, so I'm just going to adjust it ever so slightly. I put a cross pipe like this onto it just to give it a bit more structure, and also it'll follow the seat a little bit better as well. I just put little tacks here and here, and then here and here. Now I'll grind these down and I'll do a better job in the middle on the bench, but I just wanted them to hold while I'm bolting this in. Now what I will also do is I'll drill a little hole at the bottom underneath to vent that. Again, I don't want to blow out in the pipe. So yeah, so before I just do that arm, I'll do this first. There's my hole. It's going underneath. Now, a little tap. Okay, that's it. That's one of my supports. I'm also going to weld a few things from this to make sure I can tie the seat down at the back. And the reason I don't want to weld around here, which would be the easiest, to be honest, to put a tack into this, unless I can drill this side, but this side I have this little cable. It's the smallest of cables you can see. It's a tiny little, very fine cable. Very easily I can burn through that cable and destroy my light on the back. So unless I'm really careful, maybe I'll drill a tiny little hole here. But it's the seat is supported down here, and it's also pulled down so it goes nice and flush with the frame then. So I really need that mount up at the back. So I'll tack this up, and then I'll take it off, I'll put it on the ground, and then I'll have a better job. I don't want to burn anything on the bike. No gas. See straight away without the gas. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to tidy this up, grind and do a proper weld afterwards, but just to keep it in place. Okay, so that's looking a bit more sturdy now. As you can see, nothing is blowing out. You can see a little smoke coming out of that hole. It's crucial that you put that in. So, all right, let's tackle the other arm. All right, so I'm going to chop this pipe by hand. And as you can see, there's a line that's going to evolve now in a minute. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a parallel line from here all the way there on this pipe. Now, it's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be 100%, and what I'll actually do is I'll go less than perfect. So I'll hope to kind of finish up around here. And then what I'll do is I'll slowly grind it down. So that's what I'll do. So let me chop this, grind it. I'm not going to show you how to chop and grind, but anyway, that's all I'm doing. I'm just going to follow that line all the way through. A little bit here is going to tuck in underneath, just like it did on the far side. So, what you don't want to take too much off, because then you're in trouble. But yeah, I'll be conservative. I'll go on the inside. I'll take off a little bit, and there's a kind of a small little rotate, because this pipe is actually rotating. The angle is actually not on this. It's kind of more from the top. Well, not from the top, but further up. But you can clearly see that's kind of that parallel line there. It's going to sit in underneath. So yeah, I'll chop that off, and then we'll grind it down. I'll keep putting it up to it until it matches. Alright, so as you can see, there's my cut. There's my line that I drew earlier. As you see, that I'm going to have to bevel this a little bit, but it's getting there. So literally that's where it's held up, just there. So I'll get my file, I'll just file that down a little bit more, open that up, and that'll be it. And get welding again. Alright, so I'm done matching this up. It took me the guts of about 20 minutes to get that done. So I'm just going to tack it up, and then I'll take it off and I'll weld it properly on the floor. But yeah, there's not much to it. Alright, so here's the subframe, more or less finished. The last thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to find a home for the CDI, the rectifier, the battery, that kind of stuff. So I won't do that now until I get the engine in. I want to get the engine in first. So yeah, so I'm gonna paint the tank, and then I'll put the engine in. Well, I'll sort the engine out and then I'll put it in. And yeah, and I haven't seen the exhaust yet, so I'm not sure what the mount for the exhaust will be. So, but from a kind of a difficulty point of view, the subframe it was quite simple, as you've seen. It was a whole load of sleeves, a whole load of chopping, but nothing too taxing or too difficult. The full cost, I think, of this subframe was about €65. Now that's if you take my time out of it. And probably if you had one evening, you'd get it done. I usually have about an hour in the evening to do this kind of stuff. So, but if you had a full evening, you'd get it all done in one go. So yeah, so that's it. I'll just give you a few shots of the subframe and show you what it looks like.